Hi guys, this is UPSC expert, and in today's video we'll talk about food chain which comes under the environment topic of UPSC. So now let us first give you the definition. I will give you the definition of the food chain. So as we all know, organisms in the ecosystem are related to each other through feeding mechanisms or trophic levels. That is, one organisms become food for others. We all know there are many trophic levels like autotrophs, heterotrophs, primary heterotrophs, secondary heterotrophs, that is consumers, and the top carnivore, that is the tertiary consumer and quaternary consumer. So the definition of food chain will be a sequence of organisms that feed on one another form a food chain. That is, a sequence of organisms that feed on one another is known as food chain. As we can see here, grasshopper eats grass, frog eats grasshopper, snake eats frog, hawk eats snake, and at last, when the hawk dies, the decomposers decompose the hawk, and the nutrients are transferred back to the soil. So this is what a food chain is. I will tell something more. I'll tell you something more about food chain. The sequence of eaten and being eaten produces transfer of food energy, and it is also known as food chain. The plant converts solar energy into chemical energy by photosynthesis and use of carbon dioxide. Yeah, right, we all know plant contains chlorophyll. For photosynthesis it uses carbon dioxide in the air and solar energy. So small herbivores like grasshopper consume the plant matter and convert them into animal matter. These herbivores are eaten by large carnivores. So there are two types of food chains. First is grazing food chain. The consumers which start the food chain utilizing the plant or plant part as their food constitute the grazing food chain. That is, here the grasshopper constitutes the grazing food chain as it eats the grass or the plant. So uh, I'll give you one more example. For example, in terrestrial ecosystem, grass is eaten up by caterpillar, which is eaten up by lizard and is eaten by snake. Lizard is eaten by snake. So this is known as grazing food chain. The second type of food chain is detritus food chain. It starts from dead organic matter of decaying animals and plant bodies consumed by the microorganisms and then to detritus feeding organisms. That is, if a plant or animal dies, the microorganisms then consume the dead or detritus feeding organisms called detrivores, feed on the dead plants and animals, and they are known as decomposers. For example, if there is litter, it will be eaten by earthworms, then earthworms will be eaten by chicken, and chicken will be eaten by hawk. So energy will be transferred from one trophic level to the another trophic level, and this is known as detritus food chain. The two food chains are linked. Grazing food chain and detritus food chains are linked because the initial energy source for detritus food chain is the waste material and dead organic matter from the grazing food chain. Okay guys, like, subscribe and share the video, and please subscribe to the channel. I will